Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Veach Season on a Victory Monday. Just a few days removed from the Chiefs going out and getting their first victory of the year. They're 1 out of 17 in the regular season. Still undefeated, still rolling towards our three-peat. It's a game of inches. We all know that. We'll get into that a little bit later here in the podcast. But until then, I am, as always, your guest host, Rocky Magaña, along with my other co-guest host, Kramer Sansone, filling in for Brett Veach, who is obviously in the middle of the season. College football started, so he's out scouting possible prospects for the 2025 draft. So he asked us to step in yet again to man the helm of his top of the charts podcast. Don't look it up, but we are actually number one on Apple Podcasts and Spotify podcasts for all sports podcasts. We just beat out New Heights last week for the top podcast in the world. Don't check the actual charts, just take my word for it. I guarantee you it's 100% true.
Yeah, even if we're above it or below New Heights, we're around it. So just saying.
Like, I guarantee you we're within, like, what's the over under? Like the range of 150 places, 150 spots.
We're probably there at number 3 or 2, and then New Heights is at 3 below us. I don't know who's number 1.
At least
we're getting there.
Maybe there's like a 1 and a 0 in front of that 3, and they are at number 3.
Yeah.
So, but we're moving up the charts, and it doesn't matter. We're not about what are we? Just some kind of pop stars just wanting to put out number 1 hits all the time. No, we're like the Jeff Buckley or who's the other guy? The bad Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, or the Yvette Brothers. We're like that under the radar, independent artist who just cares more about quality than topping the charts. Who wants to be the number 1 podcast in the world when you can give people something that's underground and legendary that they can tell their kids about for years to come? That's going to have street cred.
Good point.
Right? So basically what I'm saying right now is Kramer, you're the Bob Dylan of podcasting in my eyes. And look at that hair. You kind of got the hair going on for the Bob Dylan of podcasting.
It's not a good hair day. I wore a cap most of the day. No, now it's just.
Don't ever say that about my baby boy, Kramer Sansone. You look beautiful.
That's the thing.
No, you look like a grown ass man right now with a grown ass man beard and grown ass man hair. Don't ever talk. Nobody, listen to me. Nobody talks about Kramer Sansone that way. Not even Kramer Sansone.
Okay, then. Yes, sir.
You keep Kramer's goddamn name out of your mouth, all right? Otherwise, we're gonna have some problems.
Is somebody been saying something that I don't know?
If you are,
keep it up. We'll start barking.
Yeah. Just nobody talks. Nobody puts baby in the corner. That's all I'm saying, Krame. But with that being said, welcome back to another episode of Veach Season, baby. And it's that time that everybody looks forward to each week, where we ask, "What's hot with Krame Dog?"
All right, what's hot with Krame Dog is it is officially that time of the year. September has came, or it's actually here. I don't want to say it's came. It's right now. My baseball season's over with. Our final game was the other day. We got beat out of the first round.
What was your final stat line?
I drove in. Well, if you add in playoff stats, drove in 20 RBIs, batted a .405 the entire season. We didn't win games, but I was driving it in and trying to get on base to win, and just didn't happen.
It's a team sport. You can't.
Yeah, it is.
It doesn't matter. I mean, you can do everything you have to do, and just sometimes it's not enough. You're only 1 of 9 out there.
Yeah, I felt like Bobby Witt Jr. from last season, the Royals. This season with my team. Yeah. So no, baseball season's coming to a close, and it's I love baseball, and it's gone. Now I'm directing my entire attention all to football now, which is actually kind of nice.
Now you're actually going to have to help your fiance plan your wedding or something.
Yeah, that's
or something totally dumb like that. You actually have to be at home and spend time with the woman you love and assist her with planning the most important day of your lives.
Yeah. No,
instead of out playing baseball with other man children trying to relive their childhood dreams.
It's wild. In 1 month, and if not 1 month, in 1 year and a few days, that's when the thing happens. When I'm not becoming having a fiance, I'll be having a wife, and that's wild to think.
It's very wild to think. And you know what? Everything changes when it's your wife. It's not like when you're like, oh, even if it's your fiance, it feels a little bit more legit, but it still kind of feels like that's my girlfriend, right? Like, oh, who's that? Well, that's my girlfriend. But like when you're full ass married, you're like, that's my wife.
My
Hey,
wife.
keep your eyes off my wife.
I can't wait to say that.
Nobody talks to my wife that way. It's like, was it John Mulaney has a stand up like that? He's like, that's my wife. Nobody talks to my wife. I didn't kill my wife. It just carries so much more gravitas when it's like when you're able to say my wife instead of my girlfriend. Right. And so congratulations. It is fun to do that. My 3-year-old, he refers to my wife as your wife whenever he needs something. He'll be like, Daddy, and I'll be like, yeah. He's like, can you ask your wife if I can have breakfast? I'm like, that's your mom, bro. Just go ask her. And she'll be like, and he'll be like, and she'll walk in and he'll be like, Mommy. She'll be like, yeah. He'll be like, I asked Daddy to ask his wife if I could have breakfast. And so everything is like, yeah, will you ask your wife? And I'm like, oh, that's pretty funny.
That's funny. That's adorable, actually.
Yeah, it's pretty cute. He had his first soccer game of the year.
Oh, no kidding.
He's 3 years old and he's going into his 3rd season of soccer.
Dude, Pele over here.
How insane is that? Yeah. I mean, the quality of the product on the field is as good as you would imagine.
I
a bunch of toddlers playing soccer.
Run him back and forth, wear him out, and take him home, have him go to bed.
But the kid hustles. And we had to have a talk, though, after this most recent game. Because so let me set the scene for you.
I'm pulling a red card on him. They're
playing 7-on-7, and 6 of the 7 players on his team are like over on the sidelines getting water breaks during the game and eating snacks. And so like he's the only kid still in the field for his team against like all 7 of the other teammates, and he's out there by himself.
No.
And so this girl is on a breakaway, and I'm like, chase her down, Luca. That's his name, Luca. I'm like, Luca, chase her down. And so he takes off sprinting after her from behind, and he's like about to catch her. I'm like, don't let her score. And so he's sprinting, and he runs, and he like tries to step in front of her at the last second, and she kicks it in and scores.
Oh,
and he like nearly chased her down from behind and cleared it before she scored. And it was like, I've never seen this kid hustle so hard after anything in his entire life. And when he saw the ball go in that net, he just flopped and fell down on the ground crying because he had like allowed her to score. And so we had to like have that talk about where I was like, listen, I know letting somebody score sucks, right? Like I'm not gonna tell you it doesn't suck. Like it sucks. Like let this kid score because you tried so hard to not let her score, and she scored. But the one thing we can't do is fall down and cry on the field, right? We gotta win or lose, be good sports, and had the whole good sportsmanship talk. And like you can't lay down and cry, but next time you just gotta run a little bit harder and try as hard as you can and make the play.
Right.
And like, I'm proud of you no matter what, as long as you're a good sport and you have fun and do the best you can and all that sort of stuff. But at the same time, I really understand trying really hard to stop somebody and then they score, and that sucks. Right. So
right, same. I know that feeling too.
I'm trying to thread the needle there. Like I don't want to tell him that winning's not important, but it's not important when he's 3, right? But
yeah.
It doesn't matter at all when he's 3. They don't even keep score.
At least he has the heart, the mindset, and the desire to actually want to chase down someone at the age of 3.
I don't want to remove.
That's good.
I don't want to remove the passion and the fire that he has to try to like be competitive and want to win and want to be a winner. But I just need him to like channel it a little bit better.
He's gonna have that dog mentality the rest of his life, which is great.
He does. And so what happened was the last couple of days at home, whenever me and him play a game, I've been like purposely beating him pretty frequently. And then every time that one of us loses, they have to reach out and shake the other person's hand and say, hey man, nice game. And like it's like a rote memory thing. We're now, and every time he loses, he puts out his hand like this and goes, hey man, nice game. I'm like, good. I was like, I don't care how you're feeling on the inside. If you could force out a hey man, nice game and a handshake, you can turn around and mother F them under your breath all you want. I don't care. It's just like when you're on the field, respect the game and give the game the respect it deserves.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
And then the whole time my wife is like, he's effing 3. I'm like, it doesn't matter. And I'm like, we're laying the foundation for the future here, babe.
Yep.
So listen, parenting, there is no guidebook for you. Just do the best you can. And
I'm holding off on that for a hot minute.
Yeah, you should because you don't get to do all the things you want to do once you become a parent. But then at the same time, it's like, dang, I miss doing all those things. But this little human being I created is also pretty cool.
Right.
And I think I'm going to keep them around because they make my life better. But then at the same time, you're like, shit, these things are expensive. Right. So it's a weird mixture where you're like, oh, I couldn't live without them. But God, they're making my life so hard right now.
I couldn't afford it in this day and age. Couldn't do it.
Listen,
I don't know how you do it, Rocky.
Afford it in this day and age. Oh well, very carefully. That's the answer.
Attaboy.
It's a rough one out there sometimes. Trying to balance daycare. Like, oh my God, daycare fees in themselves will literally put you in the poorhouse.
Yeah, that's what I'm actually kind of worried about. But you know what? That's for a different day to talk about.
That's a different chat for a different story. Here we are, 11 minutes into the podcast, and we haven't talked about a single thing Chiefs related. And
Veach season, baby.
Veach season, baby. This is what you tune in for. To hear me talk for 11 minutes about my kid's three-year-old soccer game and my philosophies on parenting. Oh my God, I'm sorry.
He's gonna be a great football player, though. Not a football player, but a football player.
Yeah, the kid is as stocky as they come. He is going to be a great.
He might be. He's not. No, might. He will be a future Chief.
100%. He's going to be a defensive tackle.
Nice
defensive tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs. Playing. It's going to be basically he's going to be 2 drafts before Bronze Mahomes. Maybe one draft before Bronze Mahomes because he'll probably be like a redshirt junior when he gets drafted, and Bronze will be like a redshirt sophomore.
Gotcha.
So like another year shaved off, right? And so, but imagine back-to-back drafts. It'd be great. Anyway, it's time. So last episode, Krame, we called back into the Madden. What am I?
The Madden ratings.
That's how they pronounce his name in Europe, John Madden. We called into the John Madden football hotline to complain because Carson Steele wasn't in Madden 25 yet, despite getting multiple snaps in the first game of the season, being the Chiefs' starting kick returner, right, and just being on the 53-man roster in general. And I checked right before we came on the air here, Krame, and Carson Steele is still not on Madden 25. They have not rectified the situation yet. And so you know what that means, right?
I think we have to call them. I think that would you like for me to? Would you like for
I would like for you to. I would like for you to, but I need you to bring the fire because these mother effers aren't getting.
We're week 2 into the regular season. We're about to hit week 2 of the regular season. It just doesn't make sense.
JFC Kramer, JFC
623-3361. All right. He didn't play at all though, right?
He had multiple snaps. He had snaps in the game.
Hey, Socho, you read the Madden ratings at just a hotline. Leave a detailed message telling us who you think should have a higher rating.
That's gotta be Chad Johnson.
But you better bring us some facts we haven't already considered. Otherwise,
okay.
Don't even bother.
Your message will be recorded. By leaving a message, you grant EA permission to use your message throughout the world, in perpetuity, on its social media platforms and websites, and represent that you are at least 18 years old. You further agree that we may call you back regarding your message.
Hi, this is Kramer Sansone. I left a message last week. Haven't got a response back. I'd like to get some of that at some point, sometime soon. But the thing is, the Kansas City Chiefs running back Carson Steele is yet to be featured on Madden. I don't get it. This is a game that you guys put so much effort to, so much time in. Can we at least get the players right at least some point, sometime? Carson Steele played in week 1 against the Baltimore Ravens. And why isn't he on the game right now? I honestly don't understand it. He is the future of the NFL, the future of the workhorse running back, because it's about to come. It's about to happen because of Carson Steele, baby. And get him in the game. That's all I'm asking for. Just get him in there. I don't care what his rating is. You know what? If it's low or high, I'll still give you a call, either compliment or complain about it. But please do at least something, Madden. Something.
All right. We'll see if that gets them to stop sitting on their hands and denying the world the beauty and the joy that it would be to play with the warhorse himself, Carson Steele, in Madden. But don't worry, guys. We're just gonna stay vigilant. We are at the city gates, watching the wilderness. We're at the wall, staring off into the icy wasteland, like in Game of Thrones, watching Madden for their response. Keep holding them to task, if you will. We will be calling them back every single week so listen here, John Madden Football with EA Sports 2025. We will be calling you every single week that Carson Steele is not in this game, and we will be asking you to account for yourselves for why you are depriving the world of playing with their favorite Chiefs player on Madden 25. The people want to know. The people demand an answer, and more than just words, they demand action. So get off your asses and program them into the game. Otherwise, we will not be silenced. We will not go quietly into the night. We will persevere until justice is served.
Here. Yeah, let's go. Yes, sir.
I am Rocky Magaña, and I approve this message. All right. Anyway, guess what, Krame? Good news.
We
got a 5-star review.
Really?
Well, not us personally, but Foolish Club Media, our parent company who allows us to do this every single week. It keeps us on the air. Got a 5-star review, and so per our tradition, whether it's about us or not, whether it's good or not, whether it's related to football, Veach season, sports, or anything at all, whatever you write, we will read live on the air for your 5-star review. It could be 100% romantic fan fiction about me and Kramer on a beach in Bermuda somewhere, huddling underneath a tattered tent as a hurricane bears down on the island, and all we have to keep each other safe is each other and our belief and support to keep each other alive and the warmth of one another's bodies. Like, you could write that fan fiction and we would have to read it live on the air.
We would, from start to finish.
Yeah. And then we would probably print it off and then give it to our significant others as their birthday presents, because we know that that's exactly what they're into.
That's exactly.
I don't know about your fiance, but my wife reads nothing but smut. Like,
really?
every novel that she reads, like, if it was actually visually played out, it would be on a website that ends in hub.com.
Oh, gotcha.
You know what I mean? Like women try to get away with like the fact that all they do is read porn typed out in words by saying that they're reading a book, but it's just nothing but like trashy smut.
I've never seen Caitlin flip open a book, so I'm assuming it's a podcast version of it, or an audio book.
Probably is. You should ask her. Ask her if she doesn't read lady smut books. Ask her if any of her friends does. I guarantee you.
Oh, there's somebody
she'll tell you.
But no, here's the thing. I'm a part of the generation that doesn't read books. Like, we read it on our phones. We get the tablets out.
It's still a book.
True, you're right.
An ebook is still a book. It's still the words. It's still the story.
But it's different. I'd rather have the hardcover book in my hand.
Well, listen, I'm an old man. I am too. I'm like, oh, you got to be able to smell the pages and feel them flipping through your fingers. Then you could dog ear your favorite part and blah 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 blah. Yeah, no. But read an ebook. Just read.
Okay.
You gotta read something, Kramer. You gotta read. If you don't read, then you'll forget how to do it. And then how are you ever going to teach your kids how to do it?
YouTube.
Exactly. But here, watch this YouTube video that'll teach you how to do all the things that I don't know how to do.
Yep.
I mean, let's face it, by the time you have kids, ChatGPT will be like the teacher in the classrooms.
Yeah, no kidding. What's that review we have?
Oh, yeah. So anyway, our 5-star review of the week. That's what we were doing. It's from Chief Shay's, SHAYZ,
okay.
Like Hot 103 Jams. Don't forget, this is Chief Shay, and don't forget to slam that Z. right? I wonder
Nice.
if Chief Shays ever hosts the Quiet Storm. You ever listen to the Quiet Storm?
Oh my gosh! I want to turn past 9 o'clock on a weeknight. Yes, sir.
Oh, it's nothing but the Quiet Storm. It's that's something to fall asleep to right there.
Quiet Storm.
It's the Quiet Storm. Yeah, I love the Quiet Storm on Hot 103 Jams. And I also love Chief Shays for this 5-star review that they left. Says, go to Chiefs content. Love the guys and embarrassingly looked way too long after the split from SB Nation for the Pod Network. Wow. It feels really good. Not just that Chief Shays likes our work and gave us 5 stars, but that we were searched out.
Yeah.
That we were looked for and then we were found. It feels good to be found. It feels good to be searched for. To know that somebody searched for you and then found you. Now that's love and that's dedication. And that's just like,
amen.
It gets you right in the feels. It gets you right in the old ticker.
Yeah, it swells on up.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm just a little choked up at the moment. Thank you,
allergies,
Chief
people.
Shays. No, thank you for their fake tears. That's what they are. No, but thank you.
But hold on, before that though, I'm notorious when I do my Chiefs comments and Kramers on Thursdays. By the way, 2:30. Feel free to chime in, comment there too. It's a show for you. But I'm like always getting like something in my eye, and I'm just like profusively crying while I'm on stream for some reason. Don't understand why it happens, but it just happens.
I'll tell you what, I'm a big baby. If there's one thing that I guarantee is going to make me cry, any outside the lines piece on ESPN is literally going to make me cry.
Really?
Every single time. It doesn't matter. It could be like the kid who was in like a car accident and then like learned to walk again and then scored the game-winning touchdown his senior year of football. Boom, crying.
Okay, I get it.
It could be the coach that, coached for 50 years and taught everybody to believe in themselves and then coached his last game just completely crying. It could, like, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It could be like the kid who was too small to play a sport, but then he found a sport that he was good at and became a champion at it. Boom, tears. Doesn't matter what it is. Like you put some sappy music behind it and you give me a sports story to believe in, and I am just effing bawling like a baby.
Dude, that's me with wrestling.
Time.
No matter what happens in wrestling, like some cool ass moment happening. Oh, if I'm there in person, you best believe I'm going to cry at some point.
I believe it. I've only been to like minor league wrestling events before, but you get caught up in the moment pretty easily.
Oh yeah. Can't get enough of that shit, dude.
No, it's fun. It is fun. They because I live here in Florida.
We just had a show this past Friday. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. That's right. How'd it go?
Fountain City Pro is amazing. It was great.
Yeah, how was Fountain City Pro?
Camaro Jackson, the Quadfather, he main evented, and he's the next match happens, which is in October 17th, I believe. He goes for the title.
Does he? Wow.
Yes.
What else happened in the event?
A lot of people got busted open. 2 people did at least. There was a guy dove out of the ring, landed onto some chairs. Wasn't that safe, but you know what? He finished the match. I think he won. But it was a good show.
He's dedicated. That's dedication.
Oh yeah, but he's also this guy's I'm a stiff robo ginger, so I mean he just gets up and keeps going.
You have to. I mean, if you're born a ginger, there's nothing else that you can't do.
Yeah.
Life's going to just knock you down over and over again.
Yeah, Gary's he's a great ass wrestler.
Yeah, I believe it. If you live in the Kansas City area and you're not going out and checking out Fountain City Pro, then what are you really even doing with your lives?
You should.
Like you have literally the time of your life just sitting there under your nose and you're not going out and checking it out.
Shame
I don't
on
understand
you.
that, people. Shame on you. You should get out there and support local wrestling and support our guy, Kramer Sansone, who's doing the play-by-play, sitting ringside, calling it out as he sees it.
It's fun.
So
I enjoy that stuff.
I enjoy hearing you talk about it. I just wish that I lived in KC so I could go out there and actually see it in person.
It's something.
Next time I'm in town, if there's an event, I'm there, buddy.
Hell yeah.
All right. So moving forward, it's time for Pop Kingdom, everybody. So buckle up. First thing on the docket today for Pop Kingdom, we have Chiefsaholic was sentenced on a game at the same day that the Chiefs played their first game of the season. We talked about this in the last episode, and it's come through. And we talked last week, Krame, that every year that Chiefsaholic got was going to equal to 1 win for the Chiefs this year, right? We're trying to say the over-under. And I gave you the over-under at, what was it, 14? Was that the final over-under we came to?
Yes, because I was 14. Because I think they're going to win 14 games. That's why it's stuck to 14.
Yeah, it was 14. Well, Chiefsaholic got 17 and a half years. And so we were including
we're including the playoffs.
If we include playoffs, include the playoffs into this equation, that gives us 14 and a half wins in the regular season, which is right around, which would be the over. It would be it'd be a 14-2-1 season. So if our Chiefsaholic math and prediction holds true, that the Chiefs win 1 game for every year that he was sentenced for his crimes, who are they going to get the draw against this year?
Probably Las Vegas.
No, not a chance. You see Las Vegas
play this
past week? Because Antonio Pierce doesn't know how to call a football game.
The defense knows how to play for once. Finally, that's what I noticed a little bit.
Oh yeah, but how was the clock management?
Clock management was terrible. 4th and
clock.
I don't want to talk about it. I don't.
How about that 4th and 1? You want to tell us what happened on that 4th and 1?
You asked me who I think they're going to tie with. I said who I think they were going to tie with. Let's just go to the next part.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
We don't need to dissect a shitty football game, so we can keep moving on.
Aren't you gonna be happy when you're a Chiefs fan? You don't have to no longer have to field these Raiders questions.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
It
was a bad game, damn it.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna. I think I'm gonna call. They're gonna draw the Bills. I'm gonna say they're gonna draw the Bills. They're gonna draw.
That's at the end. They always lose the Bills regular season. I don't think they're gonna draw to the Bills.
Yeah, but they're better now. So
if there is a team they were, maybe it's this week. Because there's not many teams. Yeah. There's not many teams on the Chiefs' schedule that look like they could either lose or tie to. So
I'm saying the Bills. But honestly, we'll get to the breakdown of the game last week. But one of the takeaways is that the Chiefs are a lot better than most.
Oh my God.
Like when you look at the other teams of the NFL, they look at the Chiefs. You're like, is this the same league?
This team didn't miss a beat. They got better.
Yeah. It's like it looked like an SEC team playing a Mountain West team.
Yeah, right? No kidding.
It looked like the Alabama USF game, where like for part of it you were like, oh, they could stay close, and then Alabama was like, oh, I'm Alabama, and then they just ran away with like a 4 touchdown victory.
Whip it on out.
Yeah, exactly. And so but yeah, so we'll see what happens. We'll see if the Chiefsaholic prediction holds true. Also, in other news, I want to get your take on this. Heading into the game on Sunday, Miami-Dade police officers pulled over Tyreek Hill for a traffic violation. On the video, it seemed like they were saying he wasn't wearing his seatbelt. Like that was a traffic violation. He was pulled over for not wearing his seatbelt.
And speeding.
It may have been speeding as well. Okay, so speeding and not wearing his seatbelt. The situation escalated to the point where Tyreek Hill was forcibly removed out of his car, put into handcuffs, put on the ground, slammed down, sat down pretty roughly on the ground, despite him saying, I just had knee surgery. One of the cops in the video can be heard acting very aggressively towards Tyreek Hill and other parties that surrounded the situation, like fellow player Calais Campbell. But I will get your take on it, Krame. What do you think?
Well, I mean, if I'm Tyreek, I'm still keeping he rolled up his window. If he didn't roll up his window, it could have been de-escalated rather quickly. But you just can't come on. I don't call for people's jobs. I don't even call for people's jobs when it comes to watching football. But man, there's got to be some sort of repercussions on how we detain somebody when they're trying to get out of a vehicle and you grab them by the neck and pull them out, which is ridiculous. And the back of the neck, to be exact, not like up and around, but still, it's not cool. It's not a good look for anything. I don't know. They're not going to get in any trouble from this. I don't think Tyreek's going to get any trouble from this. I don't think Calais Campbell's going to get any. That's the crappy part. Calais Campbell just got out of his parked to the side, got out of his car, see what was going on, just to be like what's the word I'm thinking of? A person who's not involved, but just there so it doesn't get escalated any quicker.
A bystander?
A bystander, like a novice bystander that's just there to basically be there because it's public land, I guess. I don't know. But still, it's not a good look. And it's odd, too, because there's the stadium right in the background. Like, the stadium's right there. Like, you can't just say that's Tyreek Hill. I get it. He's speeding. He shouldn't be speeding. Shouldn't have been doing that at all. But let him in.
Listen, I'm with you. Like, obviously, Tyreek Hill shouldn't have rolled up his window on the police officers. If you haven't seen the video, it's available out there on Twitter. Tyreek Hill gets pulled over. The cops are talking to him. He doesn't like the way the cops are banging on his window. He's driving a very, very expensive car. He rolls up his window on the cops. The cops say, roll it down. He starts to roll it down. And then another cop comes in and just escalates the situation immediately. He starts cussing out Tyreek Hill, rips him out of the car, slams him on the ground, puts him in handcuffs, tells him to shut the F up, tells him he's going to F and lock him up, tells Calais Campbell to move his effing car, and he's going to F and lock him up too. When Tyreek Hill is over on the curb, he grabs Tyreek Hill, yanks him down the ground forcibly. Tyreek Hill starts saying, I just had knee surgery, easy. And he's telling him basically shut the F up and cussing them out and being very aggressive.
I thought it was ridiculous, too. They hung up his phone call while he was trying to call Drew Rosenhaus.
He was trying to call Drew Rosenhaus, his agent, to let him know what's going on. And they hung up the phone. They took his phone away from him and hung it up on him.
Supposed to do that.
Which I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what would have necessitated their ability to take his personal property like that, other than the fact that they wanted to remove his ability to seek assistance when he was being treated unlawfully, to be honest, by police officers. I don't often call for people's jobs either, but and I don't think that every cop in that situation should be fired. But there was one cop in particular. The second cop that comes in the scene on the video is an escalator of the situation in every sense of the word. He escalates it. He's the one that throws Tyreek on the ground, starts cussing out Tyreek, puts Tyreek in handcuffs, pulls Tyreek down when he's on the curb, yells at Calais Campbell, cusses out Calais Campbell, threatens to arrest Calais Campbell. He's the one that is just he's trying to bully the situation and bully absolutely everybody into submitting to his will without questioning. Anytime somebody questions him back, he yells louder, more forcibly, and becomes a bigger bully. He's a small person who's trying to wield his power to control people and control the situation. And that's the issue with cops. Like cops get a lot of being a police officer is an extremely hard job. Let me say that flat out. It's probably the hardest job that you have. And so not everybody is cut out to be a police officer. There's a lot of people who are police officers that shouldn't be police officers because the job is super hard. Building a rocket ship is a super hard job too. So not everybody is a rocket scientist. Like they're different skill sets.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the skill set and you're not the type of person who can be a police officer and be a good police officer, then you shouldn't be a police officer.
Amen
that guy has no business being a police officer. And it's a tricky situation because there's not enough people who can handle the power that comes from having a gun and people having to do what you say without becoming bullies and abusing it. There's not enough people in the world. You can look throughout history. Anytime you give people a bunch of weapons and power over people, generally it ends poorly and they start using them for the wrong reasons because there's not enough good people out there or who are emotionally intelligent enough to handle that sort of power without abusing it and without abusing other people. I've witnessed this firsthand in my own personal life. There was a time where I had a bicycle stolen from me and I saw the guy who stole my bicycle riding it through the park. And I was with my friend, and he was a homeless guy who was with a group of 30 other homeless people in the middle of a park in downtown Tampa over here. And it was also in a notorious, like it was in a park where they were drug dealers notoriously like drop off drugs and like hide them for like pickups. Right. And we saw like people come and like drop off drugs and pick them up while we were there at the park. And so we called the police. We called the Tampa Police Department and we asked them for assistance. We called 911 and I said, listen, I see a drug drop going on right now. there's a group of 30 homeless people in the park currently, which I got no problem with homeless people. Like I have friends who have been homeless at points in life. I've almost been homeless at points in my life. No problem with that whatsoever. But the guy had stole my bike, and there's a group of 30, him and 30 of his friends in the park, and I just needed my bike back, and I wasn't gonna go to confront 30 people I don't know and say, hey, give me my bike back without assistance. So we called the police and we said, hey, listen, like this is a sketch area of town. There's drug deals going on over here. There's 30 people, but one of them has my bike. I have the receipt from the bike. I got the serial number. I just want my bike back. We waited 20 minutes. Nobody showed up. In the meantime, we're just sitting there in our car. Like we can see the people and they're all still in the park. And another drug deal happens like over here. Like somebody drops off behind the dumpster. Somebody goes, gets some money, drops off more money. Like this is like legit happening, like right in front of us. And so we call the police again. I'm like, hey, just checking in. Like, is anybody coming? Right. And so we sit there and and so they say, yeah, somebody's on the way. While we're on the phone with the police, another car pulls up directly behind our car. And it's two men in ski masks. Just full on mask ski masks. And they pull right behind us and they just park and they're just sitting there staring at us from their windshield into my friend's truck. And I'm sitting in my friend's truck with me because he was driving around with me. And they just sit there and they don't move. And so I'm like, hey, just so you know, that situation's escalating. There's two gentlemen in ski masks sitting in the car directly behind us. And we're scared. Can you please send somebody? They said, yeah, okay, somebody will be on the way. We wait like 5 more minutes. These guys are just sitting there behind us. They're not moving. They're not getting out, but they're just sitting there in ski masks behind us. And they're like SUV. And so at one point I tell my friend, I'm like, hey, let's just like pull around to the other side of the park. Like this is sketch. I don't feel comfortable. And he's like, I don't feel comfortable either. So we go to pull around the other side of the park. And this car just peels out from behind us and just takes off, like so that they know that we see them. And then we pull on the other side of the park. And as we're pulling on the other side of the park, the group of 30 people, one of them which has my bike, starts screaming at us and mother effing us and flipping us off and saying, yeah, get the F out of here, mother effers. This is our park, mother effers. She's like screaming at us and flipping us off. And they're like, so like we go and park on the other side of the park, but they're like screaming and yelling at us now. And so we call the police back again. It's been over 30 minutes at this point. We call the police back at this point. We say, listen, this situation is escalating very, very rapidly. We don't feel safe. And my buddy who, which is this, if you're listening out there, this is not the right thing to say on a 911 call. And I'm telling you this right now. It shouldn't have mattered, but it plays very, very importantly into this story where my buddy has his license concealed carry. Right. And so he had his weapon on him in his car.
Yeah.
And so he tells the 911, he just verbatim, that's what he told the 911 person. He said, listen, I have my concealed carry. I don't want to use it today. Please send help.
Oh my gosh.
And so about 5 more minutes pass.
Yeah, cops probably showing, right?
We see a police officer on the other side of the park coming like towards us. And so I see him and I'm like, oh, thank God somebody's here, right? Like help has finally arrived. And so I step out of the car and I start to wave him down. This guy, he's like 5'9", shaved head, Oakley sunglasses, pops out of the car. Get the F on the ground now, mother effer.
To
right
you?
now on the effing ground. Gun drawn on me and my friend. Get the F on the ground now, you mother. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, whoa, we called you. He literally goes, bullshit, get on the ground. Gun drawn, screaming at us. Won't even listen to a word we're saying. And I'm like, what is going on here? And of course, my buddy's like, dude, this isn't right. I'm like, I know it's not right, but you lay your ass on the ground right now. Because my buddy is 6'4" and black. I'm like, lay your ass on the ground and don't move. And he's like, get on the ground. And so he's like, you called 911 and said you had a gun and you were going to use it. I was like, that is not what we said. That is the opposite of what we said. And he literally said bullshit again and said we were lying. Walked up, literally.
Why would
sat
you
there until backup arrived? Took 10 more minutes for somebody to arrive. Sat there with a loaded gun, drawn on both of us. We were laying face down on the street with a cop standing with a gun drawn on us because we called because my bike was stolen. And it took over 30 minutes for the Tampa Police Department to arrive
goodness, Rock.
on the scene. And then when we showed up, the sergeant on the scene made an excuse for his officer, said that he was scared for his life. And I said, he was scared for his life? Are you effing kidding me? And so then when all said and done, the sergeant goes, well, do you have the serial number to prove that that's your bike? I'm like, yeah, here's the receipt from the purchase of my bike. He walks over to the guy who's still over there with my bike, flips the bike upside down. He's like, oh, yeah, this is your bike. So I get the bike back and I put it in the back of the truck. And they're like, what do you want to do with this guy who has your bike? And I said, I don't know. He's homeless. I'm not going to send him to jail. Like, just tell him to give me my bike back and go on his way. I don't care, right? I just wanted my bike back. All I ever wanted with this situation is my bike back. And I'm sitting here face down in the streets because the 911 person relayed the message wrong. And this guy is like, the guy who pulled over Tyreek Hill should not be a police officer. Man. And so that was a very long and drawn out story.
So, but I mean, that kind of hit with the Tyreek stuff. It hit you.
Yeah, it does. Cause I was terrified. And my friend was literally like, I'm not standing on the ground anymore for this guy. He's like, F this guy. And I was like, dude, you stay on the ground. You have a wife and kids. Like,
yeah,
stay on the ground. Like it doesn't matter at this right now in this moment. It doesn't matter what's right or wrong. What matters is going home to your family at tonight, right? Like, it's not worth it. It's just a bike, right? Just go home,
right?
Get home to that's the only thing I was thinking. Like, just get home to your family right now. That's all that matters in this moment. Now, I'll say the one thing that was cool about it was that because we were in the hood and the entire hood came out and every mother effer in that neighborhood, including the homeless people, had their cell phones out and they were recording the entire situation. So if it had gone south, there would have been about 350 angles of the situation on YouTube within like 45 minutes that people could look at.
I like how you even said the homeless people had their cell phones out too.
They did. They all had their cell phones out. They were all recording the police. And so, yeah, it was probably
that's wild, dude.
Most wild and
that's so crazy
of my life. And it's not something I ever want to relive again.
No, I hope you never do.
But at the same time, I understand how hard it is to be a police officer, which is why it's important that you have the right people and that the right people are trained properly to do a very difficult job the right way. Because if you do it the wrong way, people don't get to go home to their families, right? And the stakes are too high to get it wrong.
Right.
Anyway, that's this week's soapbox. I feel like every week I end up on some kind of soapbox when I totally don't even mean
it's always a learning experience with you, dude.
It's so,
I feel like I'm like I like there's so many layers to Rocky that I keep unpeeling every single week, and that's good.
And that's why the people keep on tuning in to see how did he become the way that he is.
Oh, let me tell you, go to Veach season episode 1233, and you will be able to find it.
You will finally figure it out. So moving on to Pop Kingdom after all of that, let's talk about Taylor Swift's game day fit. Obviously, something else is a very hot, pressing topic. I was a big fan. I think she probably had the best game day fit that I saw. I like the denim on denim. I was a fan of the denim on denim, especially with the red boots. I thought the red boots popped.
Lots of skin
with the red
lipstick.
Too. Well, when you're effing Taylor Swift and you're worth $1 billion effing dollars and you're dating Travis Kelce, you can show whatever you want. Right?
I guess, I guess.
That's $1 billion skin, Kramer Sansone.
Hey, only Travis Kelce can feel that.
No, believe me. Who you telling? I know that. I just thought that she looked great. I thought she looked super cool. I thought it was a great outfit. Yeah. I thought it took a lot of confidence to wear that. I thought she pulled it off. And I thought, hell yeah, dude, wear whatever you want. And you look super cool.
Good for Taylor. So,
yeah, it's not even like a guy ogling a girl kind of thing. No, I thought like from a fashion sense aspect, I appreciated the outfit. And I thought the boots looked really cool.
No, I agree.
And so she pulled it off. She pulled off the game day fit last week. But also another Taylor Swift news and also Brittany Mahomes news. There's been a little bit of manufactured beefing. Yeah, where's the beefing with each other? Allegedly, there was a beef going on between Taylor Swift and Brittany Mahomes because she liked one of Donald Trump's. Brittany Mahomes liked a post by Donald Trump. Taylor Swift is notoriously anti-Trump, and so ergo they obviously can't be friends anymore because Brittany Mahomes liked one social media post.
I'm gonna hate Brittany Mahomes for the rest of my life now.
Yeah, and the people said that's why they didn't sit together in the football game. In actuality, the real reason why they didn't sit together in the football game, it turns out, is very practical and makes a whole lot more sense. They are still friends, which you would be, because guess what? Sometimes people who don't always see eye to eye on political things can still be friends.
Yes.
Like people who are Democrats and Republicans can still be friends with each other. You don't have to hate people over meaningless political views, right? I mean, it's like this
it's so
separation
annoying
that we've come up with. Yeah, like if you don't think the exact same thing, I think that you're obviously an evil a-hole, right? And no, people are like, and that's the thing. It's like everybody believes something different, but for the most part, people are generally cool. And it turns out that the reason why Brittany and Taylor did not sit together during the game was that, Brittany's 3 months pregnant and Taylor's suite was a bit of a party.
Yeah, it was.
Which if I was Taylor Swift, my suite would be a party too. Like I would be having drinks, having a good time, letting the good times roll.
It's called a suite for a reason. Soak it up.
Exactly. Like you don't go to Taylor Swift's suite to sit there and be
talk
like
about the X's and O's. No,
you're you go there to see who's there, to talk to people and to have a good time
and sing the touchdown anthem.
Exactly. And Brittany's 3 months pregnant, and if it's one thing that if you've ever been the DD or just anybody who is on antibiotics for whatever reason, I don't know, whatever reason you couldn't drink, but you were around all your friends who were drinking. It's not nearly as fun being the sober person around a bunch of drunk people as it is being a drunk person also with a bunch of drunk people. And so it makes sense that Brittany would just want to be in her own suite during the game when she's pregnant, probably not liking every single smell in the world right now, having some sort of sensory, things going on due to pregnancy. And then also not being able to partake in the party and just having all the craziness around her and everything like that. She probably just wanted a more chill experience.
Yeah.
Which she can definitely do because she's carrying Patrick Mahomes' third child.
Exactly.
She can do whatever she wants.
Damn it, she deserves it.
And guess what? And she can still be friends with Taylor Swift, even if Taylor Swift is partying at the game and she's not.
Yeah.
Just because they're not partying together during one game doesn't mean they're not friends anymore.
And they were cupcake at the U.S. Open the other day, so it's like they're fine.
It's because they're best buds. They're best buds. All right, that's been enough for Pop Kingdom. It's 48 minutes into this podcast, Kramer. We should actually talk about some football today.
Let's do it.
All right. First thing I want to talk about in this week's Chiefs update. Let's do a last week review before we do a next week preview. How about that?
Okay, we can do that.
All right. So
I'm game.
Last week's review, I'm gonna pull out my receipts on one Derek Spaghetti Legs Henry. Derek, I never saw a leg day I didn't hate. Henry. Derek, all I care about is vanity muscles. Henry. Derek, I'm 30 years old and I run like a 65-year-old.
Okay, get to it, Rocky.
Henry. A lot of people tried to say I was stupid over my take on Derrick Henry, which is not a new take on Derrick Henry. I've had this take for some time. But 13 rushes for 43 yards, a 3.5 yard average.
It's not bad.
You take away 1 8-yard run, and that average is a whole lot worse. Derrick Henry does not move the pile. He is not agile. He is a liability in the passing game. He is a stiff arm and nothing else. Multiple times in that game, he ran into the line of scrimmage and then just fell over. You know why? Because he has no leg strength. He's
got drive.
No leg strength. He has nothing. He has a stiff arm. He has shoulders. If you tackle him high, he can stiff arm you. But what happened? Numerous times, one individual hit him around the hips, and he went down every single time. Derrick Henry is overrated.
I was hoping to see 20 carries, Rocky, but he got 13. They went away once again. Baltimore, bravo. Baltimore Ravens, bravo. You stopped with the running game with your running backs. You probably should have kept with that.
You were getting nothing out of him. Like, why would you stick with it so you can keep on getting 3 yards of carry when on the
you get 3 yards every 4 downs?
Lamar Jackson ran for 122 yards.
That's very true.
So why would you go to?
But
why would you go to Molasses Henry?
Why would you pay him and not play him? Just saying.
Exactly. Why would you pay him? The first half of that sentence was correct. Why would you pay him? Because he is slow and he's not powerful. Literally, my grandmother, may she rest in peace, was a more explosive runner than Derrick Henry. That woman could move the pile. May she rest in peace. That woman could move the pile. Derrick Henry, not a chance whatsoever.
All right, I'm not going to argue with that. I'm not going to.
Yeah, you're not going to argue about my grandmother who
passed away? I thought about it, but you know what? I'm not going to.
Why wouldn't you do that? That seems like
this doesn't seem
that's not stepping on a hornet's nest at all.
No, exactly. I think, you know what? She definitely can out-drive and out-maneuver and also out-push Derrick Henry.
That woman was a GD saint. You guarantee she could.
Amen, brother.
Also in this game, after the game, so Roquan Smith, who famously said that the key to beating the Chiefs was stopping the run game. Well, they kind of stopped the run game, but they didn't beat the Chiefs because guess what? That's not the key to beating the Chiefs. The key to beating the Chiefs is stopping Patrick Mahomes, which nobody's really figured out how to do consistently thus far, despite your head coach saying he has the Mahomes rules and blah, 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 blah. We'll see how that plays out this year. But after the game, Roquan Smith said, well, I don't want to make no excuses in this game, but that should have been a touchdown call.
Oh my.
No excuses.
Hell, Lamar Jackson still thinks it is a touchdown call.
Yeah, no excuses. But Patrick Mahomes flopped when I pushed him out of bounds, and they didn't throw the flag, but he flopped anyway because he's a punk. And then Peyton Hendershot, who was defending his,
who's that number 88? He gonna get his.
Yeah, 88. He gonna get his because I pushed his quarterback out of bounds. Which it doesn't matter how hard you hit the quarterback out of bounds. If you hit the quarterback out of bounds, it's a 15-yard penalty, flat out.
I don't hit the quarterback. Peyton Hendershot earned himself another game for this team, or even the remainder of the season, just for that.
Hell yeah, Peyton Hendershot, I love you. Way to step up for your quarterback. You're the newest guy on the team, and you were like, get the F away from my QB. Like, you protected your QB. Like, hell yeah, Peyton Hendershot, you're the effing man. Roquan Smith also said, oh, well, I also felt like, it was a BS horse collar tackle call on that I got as well. Because, I only grabbed him by the back of the jersey and then pulled him down. It's not like that's the definition of a horse collar tackle. Like, I'm sorry, Roquan Smith, you're an extremely talented human being, but
there was bad officiating though, both sides. It wasn't the cleanest game in the world, but can't.
The illegal formation calls, like, I guarantee you, if the Chiefs would have had the ball first, Jawan Taylor would have got about 6 of those called on him.
Probably.
But the only reason why it went only for the Ravens was that by the time the Chiefs got the ball, there'd already been so many penalties that Andy Reid and Andy Heck were like, step up onto the line. Like, do not set back deep. They're going to throw the flag. And so it just sucked. It sucked for the Ravens that they were the first team with the ball. So by default, they ended up getting all the penalties there.
Yeah.
But yeah. Also, Isaiah Likely, dude, he's a stud. Isaiah Likely is a stud.
I kind of feel bad for him being on that team.
100% stud. Yeah, to be on that team, but also just man, it was a great catch. He was just in the wrong place, wrong time. His foot was on the line by an inch. It was a great play on his part. He is just barely out of bounds, and the Chiefs got lucky there. I'll say it.
Should have worn white shoes.
Lucky. Yeah, should have worn white shoes, like Mahomes said. But Isaiah Likely should have just stopped when he said that, it was like a good game and blah, 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 blah. And then he says, But if this is the best they got, well, then I feel bad for them because we'll see them in the playoffs. Isaiah Likely, this is week 1 football. This isn't the best anybody's got.
No.
Not a single team in the NFL played their best game of football in week 1 when
I don't know.
when
Bengals
all their
look pretty
starters.
good.
Yeah, Bengals look pretty good, right? Oh my God. I mean, the Patriots defense looked pretty good.
Yeah, they did.
I'm
actually shocked about that.
Christian Gonzalez looked pretty damn good.
Yeah. D2 boy, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
D2 boy?
No, he was at Oregon.
That's right. I'm thinking of the other guy they drafted last year. 2 years ago, they got moved D2.
Yeah, Christian Gonzalez was a blue chip mother effer, and he looks like it. But then also when he walked off the field, he the fans were yelling at Isaiah Likely, and he's immediately following, thinking that he won the game, and then it turns out that he lost the game, and that's a pretty heavy swing of emotions for a guy to deal with. Like, I'm going to acknowledge that, but then I walking out the field after the game. He cussed out the Chiefs fans in the tunnel because they were yelling at him and telling him he was overrated or something like that. Which he's not. He's an amazing player, but at the same time, you can't let the fans get in your head like that. But good on the Chiefs fans for getting in his head because now we know that we can get inside of his head.
Yep.
Right. So just keep on trying to get inside of his head.
Chirping.
If he's gonna let you in his head, then yeah, keep chirping. He's the he's the professional. He's got to be the one who has to block it out. You just keep saying whatever you want as long as it's not over the line, right? Don't go over the line and say, too personal things or things that are just have nothing to do with football. But keep it about football. Just get creative.
Yeah.
Just remind him of going out of bounds every single time that he ever plays again in Arrowhead by an inch. Yeah, just scream game of inches at him or something. It seems like it's a game of inches, Isaiah. It's a game of inches. Just whatever you got to do to get in his head. Lamar was in God mode with his legs at that game.
He's good. Lamar's good.
Lamar's good. Here's the deal. Lamar is a good thrower of the football. He can throw the ball well. He is elite with his legs. You put them both together. He is a very, 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 very good football player.
Mm-hmm.
His legs are a problem. It's something you have to scheme for. And even when you scheme for it, you can't handle it, which is why at one point, Steve Spagnuolo was like, we're not going to blitz him because even when we blitz him, we're getting to him, but we're not getting to him often enough. We're going to rush 3 or 4 guys and we're going to drop back and we're going to make him pass the ball and beat us. Or he's going to run the ball for 8 yards each time. And we're going to make him run the ball.
Earn those 8 yards.
Yeah, earn them and run it down the field and take a hit on each play. But they're not going to get any explosive plays. You take that missed tackle by Nick Bolton and that one explosive Isaiah Likely touchdown play, which was a great play by Likely. Don't get me wrong. It was an amazing play by Likely. He deserves all the credit for that touchdown play. But you take away that one explosive play, and the Chiefs made the Bengals earn every single thing that they got in the game. Chiefs made the Ravens earn every single thing they got in that game. And so it was all game planned, in the second half by Spagnuolo, just to draw it out and to make them use as much time as they had to move the ball down the field. That being said, the Chiefs have a concern with that. We talked about this in the post-game show with Serta. The Chiefs have a concern with athleticism. Nick Bolton did not look good.
He looked slow. He looked slow the entire game.
He looked like he was moving in sledge. I don't know. Did he have a broken foot? Did he have the flu? Is he coming off of COVID? What is going on?
I thought Leo was flying around.
Leo was flying around. The problem is that Leo's really good within 3 yards of the line of scrimmage, laterally.
Yeah.
He's gonna get his hands up. That spy. They had Leo playing that spy. He saved a touchdown, deflecting that Lamar pass. In the second half. So Leo in the spy, Leo moving downhill, Leo in run support. That's awesome. Drew Tranquil played pretty good in coverage, but man, Nick Bolton's strength is not dropping into coverage, and he was in coverage way too much. And then the running game, he was just non-existent in run defense. You didn't hear his name called at all until the second half. He was just absent from the game. And that's one thing you have to be concerned about with Nick Bolton is that he's still a young guy. He's still on his rookie contract, so it's not a concern yet. But he's not a top tier athlete. His RAS was subpar. I think he had like a 4.9 RAS or something like that coming out of college, like relative athletic score.
If I'm getting what I'm getting right now out of Nick Bolton this entire season, like that's how he plays every single game, I'm not resigning him back.
Yeah, you
just can't. He's a liability.
Yeah, if he plays at the level he played at this week, you can't bring him back. He needs to step it up. He needs, and I believe he can because we've seen better.
Oh gosh, yeah.
We've seen so much better out of Nick Bolton. So I'm willing to write it off as like a 1 week blip for now, unless it turns into something more concerning down the line. But in the meantime, the Chiefs may need to look at a more athletic linebacker on the open market, or play a lot more big nickel, and with guys like Jaden Hicks and Brian Cook or Justin Reed down the line, or Chamari Connor, right? Like the Chiefs have the defensive backs to make big nickel their base, and they may end up having to do that this year.
Be kind of sweet if they do. I'm a big fan of big nickel.
Oh, me too. I'm a big fan of big nickel too. Like I'd be totally fine with that being our base defense.
That's when I run it when I'm in Madden. When I'm in Madden, I'm always running it.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's great. I think that the safeties, especially in the Chiefs, on the depth the Chiefs have at safety, it's a strength of theirs, and I think that they could run a hybrid defense like that. That would be unique in the league, and it'd be something that could become a calling card for them. Last thing I'm going to talk about before we move forward to looking at next week's preview of the Chiefs versus the Bengals, or the Bungles, or the Kitty Cats, or whatever you want to call them.
Dungles.
Yeah. The Skyline, chili farts, whatever you want to call the Bengals.
I was just having those earlier today.
Yeah. Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy. Oh boy, what a tandem.
It's like having a Ferrari and a Lamborghini.
Oh my God. It was like having a Ferrari and I don't know, like a bulldozer, like a rocket powered bulldozer, almost like Rashee Rice, like on those quick hitting slants and like coming out of the slot. Like
when the first pass of the game was to him, right?
Yeah. Yeah. He's so strong. He's so powerful. He's such a weapon, and he's such a mismatch in the slot that I mean, he might have 100 catches this year. Like he should have 100 catches this year.
He had 7 or 8 this past week.
He had 7. He had 7 this past week, and then you have the home run hitting Xavier Worthy. That jet sweep, like jet sweep.
Timeout. You did not want Xavier Worthy on this team at all.
Well, you're right. I'll eat the L. I ate the L on the post-game show. I'll eat the L now.
I wanted him so bad because of this said reason, and he's so damn good, Rocky. Like the sky is the limit when it comes to Xavier Worthy, because like I think he could do this every single week, and he's going to not bat an eye about it.
Listen, the speed is real with him. I on record of saying that was a draft miss by me. I misevaluated him. I didn't see the fact that he is so much more than just a speedster, that he is as tough of a player as he is. That he was going to get drafted by Andy Reid and thus be utilized to the maximum of his potential. I missed the boat on Xavier Worthy, and I am now a huge Xavier Worthy fan, and I 100% eat every last drop and lick the plate of the L of not wanting Xavier Worthy on the Chiefs. And so I was wrong. You were right.
Thank you.
I should have been a lot bigger on Xavier Worthy in this past draft cycle. I missed it. And so I officially take that out like the man I am. And that being said,
thank you.
That being said, that speed, that next gear that he has turns, like when you do a jet sweep with a guy like Kadarius Toney or Mecole Hardman, you're like, it works pretty good because those guys are fast. You do a jet sweep with Xavier Worthy and he hits it into that next gear, it's explosive. It's an explosive play. You can't blink or else you're gonna have busted coverage like on that play. Like it doesn't matter. You could lock down Xavier Worthy 8 times out of 10, but the 2 times that you miss, he's gonna bust you for 20+ yard touchdowns. He's a game breaker.
Yeah, he's a game breaker, a game changer. Like if you need to, take the top off, you can take the top off with him anytime. Like literally, like it's there.
And
he was gliding. He wasn't even. I don't think he was even full sprinting during that jet sweep. He was gliding through it.
No, but his vision also running through the tacklers and just navigating the blockers and making it through the congestion was beautiful. Like he has good vision as a runner as well, which is probably why they really liked him on kickoffs.
Oh yeah,
right.
I can see that.
It sucks that they couldn't use him on kickoffs this week, but when Hollywood Brown comes back, we might see him a little bit on kickoffs.
Ooh, Worthy on kickoff return team is gonna be fun.
Yeah, real fun. I'm excited. And the Chiefs have him locked up for next 5 years, right? 5 years before he'll be a free agent. And so the Chiefs have a great young wide receiver tandem of Rice and Worthy locked up for the foreseeable future. And it's an exciting time to be a Chiefs fan, which is also why we should switch our attention forward to the Chiefs versus the Bengals. The Bengals. The Bungholes.
My team are so good. That's what everybody was saying during
Cincinnati. Camp. My impersonation of a Cincinnati fan is that they still think that they're a relevant contender.
They haven't been a relevant contender since they lost to the Rams.
Yeah,
like I'll put that flag down right now. Like I thought the Bengals would be good this year. They look like complete dog do against the Patriots. Patriots.
I think it's willing to
at home.
I think it's about time to ask the question of should they have paid Joe Burrow the contract they paid him? Since he got injured, what has he shown?
I mean,
I think Joe Burrow is a good player. Don't get me wrong, or I did. He was a very good player, but the product he's put on the field since he got injured hasn't been the same product that he was before he got injured.
He seems like he's a little bit apprehensive. His head, I think, fell too much during the game. That the part of the game that I watched, he was not looking up at all for his receivers at all. I still would have paid him because I feel like there still is that hidden potential still there that we saw that we've tapped into from his back end of LSU to being that rookie to that sophomore season. Like we can see that glimmer, hopefully. But man, it does not look good from week one standards at all because I did not see that whatsoever. It looked like this looked bad. I couldn't even maybe like a Kyle Orton at the end of his career type of thing.
It wasn't pretty, and you made a good point about the head being down. And when you have Trent Brown and Orlando Brown as your tackles, you're going to spend a lot of time under duress. Like both those guys are big dudes who don't move well. And
watching a lot of Trent Brown, we watched a lot of Orlando Brown. So I mean,
yeah, and no wonder he doesn't trust his blockers because they weren't really blocking for him on Sunday. And I don't expect them to block very well for him against the Chiefs defense either, against Chris Jones and George Karlaftis and Mike Dana and the rest of the pass rush. Also, it doesn't help Burrow that he was without T. Higgins last week. He's probably going to be without T. Higgins this week. And then Jamar Chase is pissing and moaning in the media about target shares and why he doesn't have a new contract, and it asked the coaches, and he's just not. It's just so much disgruntled, and like T. Higgins still's upset that he didn't get a new contract as well, which also may be why he's not rushing back because he's like, why am I going to play hurt for these guys that don't even want to pay me when I'm going to make more money on the open market after this year? Like, why am I going to risk that? Like, why am I going to risk putting myself at risk and my free agent contract after this year for a team that doesn't want me? Right. And so obviously the wide receivers have not bought in to Zach Thomas and the Bengals. So obviously that's going to affect Burrow and Burrow's numbers. It's just bad vibes all around for the Bengals.
There's too much noise. Like way too much noise.
Way too much noise.
What if it's on from the outside or the inside? It's just like, I mean, at least Jamar Chase looked like a good wide receiver. He looked like Jamar Chase this past game. So I don't know, just keep throwing it to him because one, you'll make Jamar happy if you just keep throwing it to him. Two, there could be some sparks or it could be a jump start to this offense. I don't know. They're going to have to do a lot more than that against the Chiefs because I don't see them making a lot of mini passes. So
Jamar Chase looked good when he wasn't being covered by Christian Gonzalez. When Christian Gonzalez was on, he didn't do anything. Yeah, he didn't do anything. The Bengals are also banged up. Like they have T. Higgins out, but also Amarius Mims, their rookie offensive tackle, or from last year, is out. Chris Jenkins, the defensive tackle from Michigan, who was also very highly touted coming out, is also questionable. Blue. Yeah. So they're really banged up. They need some. They're missing guys at key positions that they need, and then so for me, the key matchups for this game are the edge rushers against the hideous tackles. And for that matter, even Chris Jones against their hideous inside. Their entire offensive line is just garbage. The Bengals have they've had a horrible offensive line for almost all of Joe Burrow's career. And I think maybe it's finally starting to take effect. But especially right now, their tackles are not going to hold up against the Chiefs pass rush, I don't think.
And we saw how good the pass rush was with just Chris Jones trying to get through the Baltimore Ravens offensive line. So if it's going to be something like that, which I think the Ravens have better offensive line when it comes to the Cincinnati Bengals, Chiefs are going to eat. Like, I don't think Burrow's not going to have time to at least let any sort of play develop. The best thing they could probably do is just dump it off to a halfback and Zach Moss. I'm sorry, Zach Moss isn't going to turn me like go up that way towards like, oh, I'm so excited, Zach Moss. No, like I don't think the Bengals have a zero clue of identity on offense, and I don't think they're going to figure it out either of those against the Chiefs. I just don't. This is going to be. That's the thing too. I don't want to also overlook the Bengals, and then somehow they have to like come to Arrowhead, make it Burrowhead once again, which I doubt that's going to happen ever again during Burrow's illustrious career, whatever how long it's going to be. This might be a bloodbath of Chiefs' favor. This shouldn't be a 3:25 kick. This needs to be a noon kick.
100%. And it's one of those things that we talked about earlier. When you watch the Chiefs play, and you watch all these other teams play, they're just a league above where the Bengals are right now.
They're a league above everybody. Like the Chiefs look so damn good. Maybe not the Saints, but they also played the Panthers. But Chiefs looked really good week one. Watching all the other games, they just look like they.
It doesn't look like another team in the AFC that can hold a candle to the Chiefs right now.
No.
And I hope that it stays that way the entire season. Obviously, it's a long year, so we'll see what happens. Chiefs. There's a possibility the Chiefs get Hollywood Brown back for this game. Andy said.
Oh, don't rush it, Andy.
I don't know why you would rush it. That's what I'm saying. I don't know why you would rush it after last week. The Chiefs did not have a problem moving the ball.
He's got enough guys on the bench that can play and be fine.
Well, and you're playing a much worse defense this time around, and so that I don't see a need for
Eli Apple playing.
No, unfortunately, unfortunately.
I know he hasn't been there for.
Actually, the Bengals they have names in the secondary. They have Cam Taylor-Britt. They have Josh. They drafted Josh Newton.
But those guys aren't. They're not. They've never experienced like what the Chiefs are, and this is a damn different Chiefs team. Like that. That offense,
I hear that
night and day different from last season, from week 1 to week 1.
Well, listen, I hear you. I think Dax Hill is a legitimate stud in the secondary for them. Dax Hill is a stud, and I would be concerned. I think that he might be one of the only players, along with Kyle Hamilton, that I think might have a chance of like slowing down Rashee Rice. Now we saw that they didn't put Kyle Hamilton on Rashee Rice last week, and so will the Bengals try to man up Dax Hill on Rashee Rice? And if so, then it's going to open up Travis Kelce to eat. It's going to open up Xavier Worthy and the rest of the wide receivers, and we might even see a Juju Smith-Schuster sighting. For God's sakes,
let's go TikTok.
Because let's go TikTok because they're gonna have to try to like do the Bill Belichick and try to say, okay, I'm gonna choose one guy and take him away. If you don't take away Rashee Rice, you're in trouble. If you do take away Rashee Rice, you're in trouble. And that's where it's at right now. There are no good answers for opposing defensive coordinators because the Chiefs have too many weapons currently on offense. And the Bengals got to try to get something going on the ground, right? You said Zach Moss, he's fine. I like Chase Brown a whole lot more than I like Zach Moss as a running back, but he has ball control issues. He's had a lot of fumbles in his career. He's got to learn how to hold on to the football. Then also, do the Bengals have a second wide receiver who can stand up, who can step up in T. Higgins' absence, right?
Like they had options last year. They legitimately had options like Tyler Boyd. That would be your number 3 guy from last year, and he would be a great number 2 for Joe Burrow right now. That's not going to happen.
Well, yeah, but like they even have like Andre Yeshovash, and they have Jermaine Burton, who they drafted, and I loved Burton coming out this year. I think he's awesome. They have Charlie Jones, who I thought Charlie Jones was a super stud coming out 2 years ago, and so he has targets, but I don't know if Burrow trusts him.
I don't think Burrow trusts anybody except for his buddy Jamar Chase. Like I don't know if that's a gift and a curse. The fact that he wanted damn good and well Joe Burrow's like, get Chase, get Jamar, like he's my guy. We have this connection with each other since LSU. That this is at this point in time, like once college is over with, it's all about business.
Yeah,
all about business. And I'm hoping at some point the player. I feel like Joe Burrow knows. I would hope he's smart enough to know that's like, all right, it's a business now and not an actual game. Where it's like I have my go break it off, go get paid.
He needs to get his other old buddy Terrace Marshall Jr.
Oh yeah,
in there, yeah, from LSU, or maybe his other buddy Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
I mean,
I don't ever want to wish that on such a great guy like Clyde Edwards-Helaire that he would ever have to play for such a horrible organization as the Bengals.
I had to walk to practice, which is nuts.
Across traffic,
that's nuts.
You have to walk across traffic. You got to
hit that button for it to like wait
and wait. And then it's ticking down and it turns yellow. You got to hurry up or you get your ass hit by a mom in a Kia Carnival.
Yep,
trying to get her kids to soccer practice.
And you got that person wanting to take a right turn on red, and while you're trying to walk across the thing, and it's like, dude, it's still red. Well, that car's still going to go.
Like, I have the right of way here. People walking here.
Well, I'm walking here.
Like, all of a sudden, they're all New Yorkers, right? Every single one of them.
Thought we're in Cincinnati.
Yeah. Thought we're in Cincinnati. They're talking like they're from New York. Yeah, so long story short, I think the Chiefs run away with this one by 2 touchdown scores. I don't think the Bengals have an answer.
I don't think. How many points do you think the Bengals put up?
So I'm gonna do the prediction on Arrowhead probably later this week, and I'm feeling like it's going to be. Hold on. Let me look into my crystal ball here and massage my temples and look in to see what the score is going to be. 31-13.
You think they give 13 points? I think at least 17. Let's get one more touchdown from last week, and you get your field goal, and then I could see that working. But then the Chiefs are going to put up like 50.
I'm calling it's 31-13. Then you get 1 touchdown, 2 field goals. Jamar Chase is going to get a touchdown, and that's it.
I'm going to say 50-17 Kansas City, and we're going to see Carson Wentz take a snap.
I can see that. The question is Patrick Mahomes going to catch another pass?
Yeah, because Carson Wentz is going to throw it to him.
Yeah, Carson Wentz is going to throw a touchdown pass to Patrick Mahomes.
Wouldn't that be that would be electric. That would be
that
so
would be
fun.
The play. Or if it's the play that Taylor Swift drew up, Love Story, right? What if it's Travis Kelce throws a pass to Patrick Mahomes?
That'd be sick too.
Mm-hmm. That would be awesome. I hope when they play the Bills that they draw up basically a designed version of the play that got called back. The Kadarius, the Travis Kelce to Kadarius Toney, but it's like Travis Kelce to Xavier Worthy.
Right.
And that it works this time, and then it's a touchdown.
That'd be sick. You know how badass that would be?
That would be super badass.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all we got for the Chiefs Bengals game. Really quick before we get out of here, we're not really going to break them down too much, but there's college football is back in the swing of things, which means that we are starting to break down tape and start to watch guys and starting to build our prospect lists and our big boards and guys that we're keeping eyes on as possible prospects for not just the Chiefs, but the NFL and the whole. That way, when draft season rolls around, we're ready to keep cranking out this award-winning draft content for you. Don't ask what award it is. It's just the best award that they have for draft podcasts. We won that one. It's Best Draft Podcast Award. It was awarded by somebody very prestigious.
Damn straight it was. I've seen it.
Damn straight it was. You'll be seeing it posted on my shelf in the background very soon.
There's no shelf back there.
There's no shelf back there. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll see that there's no shelf back here. Serta, in post-production, I need you to put a shelf.
Serta, we need
awards. Serta, I need a shelf of awards behind me in post. Yeah. So but yeah, so we're gonna start breaking down guys, getting the tape broken down, building our big boards so that when it comes on draft season, we're ready to rock and roll. So that being said, guys, we got our eyes on right now who've kind of stood out so far. Emory Jones Jr., right tackle out of LSU. Dear Lord, he's just a thicken.
You see his hips.
Being. Yeah, he moves so well too. He's got good hands. He's a brawler. He's a bit of a brawler out there. He finishes. He has a nasty streak. It's almost like he's like Trey Smith, but a tackle.
God.
And I'm a fan of that.
It's terrifying.
Yeah. And so I like him in the first round range. Trey Harris, wide receiver, Ole Miss. I had a crush on him last year if he came out when I liked him in first, second round range last year. He's only continued this year just to light it up for Ole Miss, obviously against lesser competition so far. But even last year, he put up, even with the knee injury, he didn't miss a single game last year and is continuing. He's that Xavier Legette, AJ Brown, Debo Samuel, just big, strong wide receiver who's really good after the catch. And then another guy I really like at running back is Kyle Monagai, running back Rutgers. Obviously, the Chiefs have had really good luck drafting running backs out of Rutgers, drafting Isaiah Pacheco in the 7th round there. Monagai's going to go higher than that, probably 3rd to 4th round range. 5'9", 209 pounds, runs super well between the tackles, great contact balance, great vision, does not go down on first hit, drags guys with him. When he played Akron this last week, I think there was like 6 or 7 carries where he had like the entire defense on him and he was still just moving the pile until finally at one point they literally picked him up and they were holding him off the ground and he was like kicking them, trying to kick free. Like this guy just fights for every single inch and he's so much fun to watch. He rushed for over 200 yards against Akron. So he's a stud. And then Kramer, you got a guy who you're watching on your radar.
Might be the number 1 quarterback in this upcoming draft. Quentin Ewers just goes into the big house, absolutely railroads Michigan. It was bad. He's gonna be a stud. I think he's gonna be a very damn good quarterback in the NFL, and anybody who drafted him would be lucky. I think he's the first overall. Yeah, he's the first overall pick. He's the first quarterback taken.
That's a hell of a statement.
Yeah, he looks that good. It's very hard to go into the big house and win. Even though 14 players got drafted to the NFL last year from Michigan, still it's a number 6 ranked Michigan, I think, at the time. I think they were number 6. But it's Quentin Ewers is good.
It's also really hard to have Archie Manning nipping at your heels, waiting to take your job the first time that you mess up, and to hold on to that starting job.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. It's weird seeing him on the sidelines.
Yeah.
That's a Manning over there. That's weird.
I can't see Archie sitting riding the bench at all past this season. He's wherever if he's not starting for Texas, he's starting somewhere else and hopefully contending for a national championship with that team because that kid can sling the ball. Oh, holy crap!
He's got an arm on him.
He has an arm on him.
Got 2 actually.
Yeah, just like the rest of us. Who would have thought it? One thing, if you're on YouTube, you should check out is that Justin Reed was on the Up and Adams show this week after the game, talking shade on Isaiah Likely and the Ravens, and that's pretty entertaining. And then he ended the interview by pulling out both of his Super Bowl rings and flexing, showing both of them. So check out the Justin Reed interview on Up and Adams. Any parting comments, Kramer Sansone, before we get out of here on this tight 124-minute podcast?
Have a good night, people, or a good morning, whenever you're listening to this.
Listen, life is crazy. Life throws you curveballs, and just enjoy the people you're around and love each other. Grab somebody you love and squeeze them. Tell them how much they mean to you, and just appreciate everybody around you, and just be good to each other. And until next time, give us 5-star reviews.
Yes.
Doesn't matter if they're good, bad, whatever. Just give us 5-star reviews. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm at Rocky Magaña. You can follow him on Twitter at Kramer Talks, at Club Foolish for Foolish Club Media everywhere. Until next time, thank you very much. We hope you earned the privilege of your time, and have a great day.